Welcome back to another episode of the Mostly Good Americans podcast. My name is Azer Wynn, and I'm here with my host,
Graham, and we're here with our very special guest,
Maya. Hello.
And for the folks that don't know, what do you do?
I am a producer, creative director, film director, multi-hyphenate, all of the above, anything creative.
a real Renaissance woman.
I try.
I'm gonna start off with a big question, just right off the bat. Where are your roots at? Where do you come from? Where's your soul at?
Somewhere in here, you know.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of access to it more recently, but it's somewhere there. No, I was born and raised in South Florida. I've lived in Lake Worth my entire life.
What? Lake Worth?
Shout out, shout out,
Lake
Exit
Worth.
61, Exit 61. If you know, you know.
They will know. This is a South Florida podcast. But hey, if you know, comment down below, and we'll pick a winner for when this podcast comes out for a free shirt. If there's enough people that comment.
Ooh, incentives. But no, I've grown up in Lake Worth my whole life, Florida my whole life. I come from a very Caribbean household, so I've grown up with music my entire life. My dad used to DJ.
Okay.
Cool.
Back in the 80s, 90s. So he always played music every freaking morning. By 9 o'clock in the morning, he had two big ass bass speakers lined up in our garage. And I would just wake up to hearing and I'm like, damn, bro, just straight reggaeton.
I was about to ask what kind of music. It was like reggaeton.
Yeah, like I grew up on very lively and hype music. So that's the type of music I like to make. But also some sad shit in between.
Yeah, I was like, you have a pretty wide-ranging set of sounds. I was like, today, because I knew we were doing the interview today, I took a little deep dive on the Spotify for a minute.
Some rock, heavy little rock
I was
influence
like,
in there too. I like
yeah.
Evanescence, kind of
A
like
little bit, yeah.
Like grungy. I was like, I've noticed a lot of that as well. I guess. So like your dad, you got some reggaeton and some like rhythm influence and stuff. Where did these kind of like rock or like indie grunge kind of sounds come from?
I really could not tell you, because my music taste has always been very diverse since I was a kid. And like, I would say my rock influence came in the last 4 or 5 years when I started getting more depressed. And then so like I just stepped into like the heavy like rock, heavy metal, like alternative rock and like 80s, 90s rock. And yeah.
What are some artists that influence you? It doesn't have to be your favorites, but just some general, you know what I mean?
None, truthfully. I don't take a lot of influence from the music I make, though. But I like to keep it as original to me as I could be.
Yeah.
So I try not to take elements.
Or
of
maybe
stuff
not
that
even
I hear.
influencing your music, but just artists that
That I
you
listen to?
Yeah.
Well, you said Evanescence, and I actually really do like their music. I also listen to, basic shit, Deftones.
That's not basic.
Yeah.
Deftones just got popular. I'm gonna die on this hill.
all these TikTok
Yeah,
kids. This is just the
TikTok
truth. Like
But
TikTok
before it was on
popularized.
I
TikTok.
was like, dude, my dad had me listening to Deftones at like 12 years old. Like, I was like, Deftones.
It's not even on some
is-
gatekeeping shit. It's just like they really didn't get I wouldn't even say mainstream. Like they
No,
were
had-
popular. They
had
were
a cult following.
They had a cult following.
They perform with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, like they were. You know what I mean?
They're
pretty
legit.
cool, you know.
But they got
like,
more.
Yeah, I was like, I think
did Coachella this year.
The normies.
But Deftones, honestly, I've been listening to so much Deftones recently.
Yeah.
And then what else? I feel like Linkin Park was a big one for me and Nick. But
Yeah.
No, I would have to look back at my playlist. Can I do that?
if you would like to.
Playlist moment.
Because I don't listen to artists. I just pick selective songs that I like.
Dude, I do this a lot too. Where, I'll have one song that I know every fucking lyric to by this one person, and they're like, "Oh, they're performing at this," and I was I could not tell you anything about them or whatever.
Man,
I just really
I like that
this one
fucking song.
song.
That's a lot of stuff like that. But more modern, like Fleshwater,
I've heard of them.
Julie. I really do have to look.
Take your time. There's no rush.
I'm shaking Paramore, of course.
Oh
my god, there's this girl named Blonde Shell. She made this
Blonde
song.
Shell is fucking lit, dude.
I love her.
Yeah, she went by a different name for like a little bit. I followed her under the different name, and then she switched to Blonde Shell, and then she blew the fuck up.
Yo, love her. 3 Days Grace, Alice in Chains.
So you have a decent catalog.
Yeah.
You know, because I know you said like you strive to create original music, but I do hear
influences
like the influences, whether. And you know, I'm the same way. Like I always try to create original stuff, but art is an act of not like copying and pasting, but hearing something and being like, oh, maybe I can do something this way, or I can apply this.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and something I wanted to go back to, as far as you're saying, you're creating original music. You are self-produced.
Yeah.
For most of almost all of your songs.
Almost all. Yeah.
Right?
What's your DAW?
Guys, I started on GarageBand on my phone when I was like 14.
Isn't there a Jay-Z song, or there's some really good song that was produced in like only GarageBand?
I'm pretty sure, probably, but
I'm pretty sure.
I've honestly, I've also made, this is like random.
Real quick, Joji produces everything in GarageBand.
And Steve Lacy did too.
But as you were saying.
Like for shits and giggles, I started on GarageBand on my phone, and then when I was like 16, I decided to buy an iMac, and then I started GarageBand on there, and I'm upgraded to Logic Pro. They convinced me. I tried FL Studio, guys. I can't do it. Please stop asking me.
I started off in Logic.
I use Logic now, but for shits and giggles, I used to edit on After Effects. That was like the original point of my creative career, whatever, was editing.
Yeah, that's cool. Video editing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. That's like what kind of videos?
Nothing too cool. I did like the Instagram edits,
like anime edits.
Yeah.
Yo, I actually started off video editing from making AMVs like 10 years ago. So that's a very good entry point. And I didn't know that you edited videos before, so that's a cool insight.
I was like, we're talking about music now. We're gonna get into all the creative direction and like video and that kind of stuff too.
Yes, we'll probably talk about how I got scammed.
Oh my god.
Stay tuned for the podcast.
Yeah.
If you're gonna click off now, don't, because we're about to get into some juicy stuff.
But no, I made a beat on After Effects because both of my DAWs were like not working because my phone didn't have like a mic, and I couldn't make music unless I plugged it into some like wired headphones, connected it to like
BandLab. Yeah.
Yo, but like before BandLab was a thing, like before people were really making music on their phones and shit, I was like, shit, let me hop on something, because my brother used to produce more stuff, but made a beat on After Effects using random 808s that I found, just downloaded them on my computer, and then recorded my ukulele on an iPod Touch Red 3rd generation, and just like playing this like melody on the ukulele that I freaking loved, and then did some random vocals, all on a video editing thing, and I posted it on SoundCloud. It's kind of cool.
That's amazing, and I think that shows that this is why technology is so valuable, because even in a software, it's just like when people make like a mod for a video game that does something that it's not supposed to do. Like there are so many avenues, and even though like you did it in After Effects, you still made a song.
It was,
you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it got created. So that's cool, you know. So that kind of led you to be like, oh shit, maybe I should actually like
try to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
So would you say that you're kind of tech savvy?
Not at all. I'm really not. But I can figure things out. Like if you put me in front of a computer and say, figure out how to use this shit, I might just spend a few hours like touching buttons, doing a little something.
You figure some shit out.
I got a question.
Yes.
What are some of your film influences? Some of your video editing inspirations or directorial inspirations?
Ooh, geez, these are very hard questions. My favorite movie is Percy Jackson, and this is very random, but when I grew up, that movie just had such a weird inspiration to make me want to create films because I was a big fantasy kid. And then
I was like, Percy Jackson
Hard.
was one of my favorites. Yeah, I was like,
I don't
that's,
like her hair color in that movie. I think that they should have. If
should've
you,
been blonde.
she should have been
No, I
blonde.
I was
agree. I
Annabeth,
agree.
not blonde.
Bro, because some director was like, what if? What if her hair was black? And then everybody was like, you suck.
This is the fucking worst.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
ever do that.
It's literally the biggest point. In
I love Rick
character.
Riordan though, bro. That guy's hard. I read all of his books in middle
You read
school
the
and high
Egyptian
school. I read
ones,
all
too?
the Egyptian ones and all of the
Roman ones.
The Roman ones.
You read all the Roman ones?
Bro, my mom, bro, shout out to my mom. So I didn't mean to get off track here. Shout out to my mom. My mom's bought me the whole collection of that shit, bro, when I was a kid.
That's so lit. I actually have hella in those book. Like,
Bro, the
those
Red
book-
Pyramid, bro? Or is
Yeah.
that what it's called? The first book of
I
the
have,
Egyptian
I
ones
have,
called?
I have all of them in those book boxes. I have
But-
in my room.
Guys, I'm
Anyways.
learning so much about them. This is actually
Yeah, I
really
was
great.
like, also, shout out. This is like the first kind of interview where
Yeah.
we've done where it's not someone that we like know very. Like this is
Yeah.
actually our first time
time
meeting,
meeting.
and like they came
Blind
Nice.
interview.
Yes, blind
Nice-
interview. So
nice to
like,
meet you guys, nice
I was
to
like,
meet you
we've
guys.
been fans for a couple months now, but like this is actually the first.
You can
time
see on the
meeting,
board,
so-
this will probably air sometime in May, but it's been a couple months coming
it's
here.
been brewing,
Top
but
of the list.
But
Okay.
going back on to the film
Yeah.
yeah.
inspiration.
So you saw Percy Jackson, and you were like, damn,
Yeah.
this is hard.
And then, what else? I grew up on. My dad used to watch a lot of cowboy films,
Oh,
and so
Westerns.
like yeah,
Yeah.
westerns. That's the correct term. Yes.
nah, cowboy movies.
You can say cowboy movies.
Cowboy
it's fine.
movies. And I used to watch them with him, and I was always interested because they were always black and white films, and I was always interested in shooting in black and white
Okay.
and cinema, anything that's very heavily cinematography, English. But again, I can't name specific things off of my head because I don't have memory. But another movie is Kingsman because I also like the element of their
Kingsman
editing.
It was a great movie.
Those were my favorite like editing styles, and especially one shots. And then how the Haunting of Hill House. Oh my god!
I don't think I've seen that
That's a
one.
show.
That's
It's
a
a show?
good
Yeah,
one.
that
I'll have to check it
one's
out.
honestly fucking like the Haunting of Hill House is haunting. It's a
It's
fucking
really
check it
good,
out.
and they
Like,
have so
nightmares,
so
dude.
much
That
hidden
shit's fucked
shit
up.
in there. It's amazing, and they did a scene where it was one take, and that's just like my favorite thing in movies. I'm sorry,
One
like,
take?
one
You like
takes.
one-
I
Yeah, I love
love.
one
I
takes as
fucking
well.
love them.
That's good.
Anytime, especially when we're changing like sets, and it's not just.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's so
It's so
cool.
it's so
So
invigorous.
I'm a big believer in when you're a creator, you have to make sure you sharpen your blade, and every creator has their sharpest blade.
Okay.
You know. So what would you say your sharpest blade is? What's your most attuned creative skill? Because you're I forgot what the word is, but you're multifaceted. Like you have a lot of different aspects to how you create and why you do. So what would you say your most honed in skill is?
I'd say right now it's making music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's definitely my priority, but film directing is the thing that has my heart, and it's something that I've always wanted. Like I wanted to go to school for it and study it, but music is the top thing that I'm like the best at. I started playing instruments when I was very young, and like taught myself how to play guitar and piano, and that was that was just something that I will keep close to me forever. Music will always be something that's in tuned in me and something that I feel differently, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Do you? We brought this up with a couple of people who are both like performers as well as the producer. Do you feel like there's a separation or like a difference in your creative process between like making the music as far as like the instrumentation and that kind of stuff, like the production element, and then like writing the lyrics and singing and that kind of stuff? Is there a difference for you, or is that all kind of the same process?
Okay, fun fact, when I make a beat and I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do for the lyrics, most of it's just gibberish in the beginning, but if I find a section that I like, say it's in the middle, I'll start the production for writing from the middle until end, and then I'll start to go back to the front.
Yeah.
It's, I guess, unconventional.
Sporadic.
Yeah, like it's very, very sporadic. Like random points, I'll just be like, oh, actually, I like how I did this in this random run that I did, just saying anything, freestyling. But writing is something that I've grown to be more comfortable with. I am a better writer than a freestyler. Like
facts.
When,
I feel that.
When I'm like at the studio with people and they're like, "Yo, you need to like freestyle something," I'm like, "Yeah, no. Give me 15. I'm about to."
I always tell people to freestyle because when I first started, I started making dubstep. If people see this podcast, they're gonna be like, "Oh shit!" But I started making dubstep a long time ago.
I was about to say the dubstep name, and I was like, "Let me hold my."
Yeah.
I haven't gotten into that genre yet.
But and I forgot what I was gonna say now because I got totally fucking. It's okay.
But when you were making dubstep and then freestyling.
Oh yeah. So when I had switched over from electronic music to rap music, I had realized I was like, all music on a personal level is about creating a formula.
Yeah.
And in mainstream music, we notice patterns and formulas that people follow. So for instance, in rock, we have loud, quiet, loud. In orchestral music, you usually have multiple movements, you know what I mean? There are certain standards, but that doesn't mean that you have to follow that standard because the greatest musicians were the ones that knew the rules and broke them.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. And this is a weird one. Video game soundtracks are also something that have
fucking beautiful.
And I think a lot of them break hella rules.
Final Fantasy.
They don't have it's anticipation, it's like a pace. It's supposed to give you a feeling that is different than to make you intrigued in what you're watching, to make you locked in, to make you feel connected.
It's like they can create the sense of this environment with the sound that it plays. Like
it's composing.
Like Pokemon. Dude, when you would walk into fucking Lavender Town and shit, bro, come on. You were like, you knew some bad shit was about to happen.
Exactly.
For all the Pokemon creepypastas, bro.
Oh my god.
Bro, they were like, did Lavender Town music kill people? What is? Because HYS Dom, huge video game fan, actually has a lot of clips from that podcast where we talk about video games. What's one of, not your favorite, but what's one of your favorite video games?
I was like, you're a gamer?
I'm not a gamer. I've actually never owned a console in my entire life. I've never played, I played like on Nintendo Switch and like Mario Kart and all that, but like I never owned one to get to play a real game myself, but I grew up watching a lot of like Let's Plays and walkthroughs, and so I have a lot, but Little Nightmares is one of my favorites because I love like horror, like psychological thriller stuff.
It's like an amnesia kind of game. Like you're being chased or like you have to go find the mystery. I liked it, and especially the soundtrack on that one. That is, this shit has my heart.
It's called what? Little Horrors?
Little Nightmare.
Whoa, get your mind out the gutter, buddy.
Horror.
Oh, you said horror.
Little ho-hos.
No, y'all, Jesus Christ.
Hey, come on, it's a game about little kids.
It's a family podcast. It's a family podcast.
It's a family podcast.
But no, Little Nightmares, it's really good. If you've never played it or seen it, you should definitely check it out.
Did you ever play Silent Hill?
No, guys. I've never.
Or did you get into Silent Hill?
I haven't.
Okay, I was like, I don't know much about it, but I know that has a cult following.
I love Silent Hill personally. It's because the aesthetics of the game are so good, and there are so many random one-liners in the game that are just like, oh fuck.
You're like, damn, that just hit my heart.
Life is scary.
I'm gonna look into it. Life is terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, we got real deep.
Life is Strange, actually. That's a good game, too.
Life is Strange is a great game, actually.
Awesome game. That was cool.
Yeah. I was like, okay, so besides gaming and video editing. Well, actually, I want to go back to something that we fucking said, that we said we were about to advertise. You were like, something about scamming? Oh, they were like,
oh my god, guys. Yes, I did get scammed by a girl because she wanted me to do a creative direction for her film, and I flew out to New York to go see her, and she said that she was gonna pay me before I took off and went. She was like, I'm gonna pay for your flight, I'm gonna pay for your day rates and da. And I was like, cool, like this is really my first time doing something that's like out of state for somebody else. I'm like, shit, like I'm
new opportunity. You're
excited. Catch a bag, bro. Like I'm cool. I was like, no, for real. No, I paid for the ticket on my own, but like I was like really into it, and I was really trying to like create the best thing for her and try and check in on her. But anytime you try to talk to her, it's like she sent you her manager, who she also
just her friend. Like,
I don't want to air too much, but like
we don't have to.
She treated that girl really. She don't treat that girl right, and it hurts my feelings. But other than that, never got paid. She threw a fit on the first day after like 6 hours of shooting, and there was like small things going wrong, like, you know, being in a public place, you really have to have a license to film, especially in, you know,
New York.
In the World Trade Center. It's like we knew that, but we got like permission. Well, we did from one of the guards, and then some other guards came and they were like, "Nah, like you can't film here," and they were like, "Shit," but we were still like sneaking shots in. I'm like telling her, "All right, so we gonna switch this, and like trying to stay on top of things."
Well, which is what she hired you to do.
Yeah, you know, to direct. And then, you know how you said I'm hella punctual? I told her that.
Yeah. I said be here at 7:30. She pulled up 7:30 on the dot. Yo, am I at the right place? I was like, damn, bitch, you punctual as hell.
Like I'm hella punctual, like, because if I'm not, then I'm gonna be extremely fucking late.
It's a great quality. That's a creator. It's a great quality.
Yeah.
So she knew that, and then she got fissy, had like a little a tantrum, truthfully, about her wig, and we were like, dog, it's not that serious. Like, we don't.
Did that change your perspective on how you approach creating your art and sharing it with other people?
Not really, but it changes my perspective on how to conduct myself,
like business
wise. Yeah. So, but no, girl, can I just say, I offered this lady, this grown woman, the wig on my head that was glued down, so that way we can get our shots in. It was just a costume change. That's all we needed to get done, and it was the final scene. And like the videographer had to go, and he was already. It was just a hot mess. Yeah. And in the end, everybody was upset. She was cussing at people, yelling at people that were just trying to help her. And personally, I'm not gonna work with somebody that's disrespecting people that are trying to help you for free.
Right.
And you already owe me and like a lot of other people money
in this creative process.
Yeah. And the way you're behaving is very childish, and I don't like working with people that are like that. So I definitely have to be. I'm like more cautious on who I like contact and how I approach the business side of things. But no, I'll still create, and like whenever people ask me, I'm very open to it. It doesn't make me like scared to contact with new people. It just makes me like gotta be in depth. Gotta make sure everything's thorough.
To be a little bit more like less
weary,
less giving to everybody. And I feel like that's especially as we get older and like, you know, people got less time and more bills and that kind of stuff. Like, dude, if I'm gonna like do this, like it's gotta be like we gotta like get along and we gotta make sure that this thing happens. Like we're here for a common purpose and making something cool, and like it's like let the ego get away from it. Let's just make like art. Like you asked me to do this.
Like, we just live in a business world, and I think a big thing for artists, and if you're watching this and whatever you do, any project that you do, music, film, dance, you take half of the deposit up front.
Absolutely.
Okay. I had to learn that the hard way as well when I was a younger producer. You know what I mean? You always take half of the deposit.
Please get your money. Please do not get scammed.
And it's a non-refundable deposit. And you make sure you put that in text or somewhere in writing so that if something happens.
Contracts. Please make a contract. Like,
it's not hard to draw up a contract.
At all.
AI,
you got ChatGPT now.
Yeah, even if you send an invoice, bro, like that counts. And you could take that to court if they don't pay it. I'm just saying. But like.
We move forward. Though,
we proceed.
We move on. And obviously, you have moved on, you know. Yeah. So I want to go on to the music, you know, a little bit, because we've been talking about a lot of different stuff actually.
We were talking about aliens outside before we started.
We were really getting into the shit.
In and out of topics.
But back to music, as you were saying.
So when you make music, do you feel like you have a specific message you're trying to convey to people? Or an attitude or a lifestyle?
Yeah, bro. I'm that bitch.
Gains.
Not really. I feel like my music definitely shows the multiple personalities that I have in my head. And they're all, a lot of songs have characters built into them and like people that are inside me that aren't like really me and who I want to be. Like the song that I made, like that's very much like a song where I had a moment after I performed in North Carolina that I was just like, oh shit, like people are actually getting to know who I am and actually liking the shit that I do, and like I'm that bitch, you know, with a dick in her pants.
You got confidence.
It was really like, it definitely was a song about like having confidence and seeing people support who you are, and then like those who doubt you, you're like, don't work out. It doesn't work out. But for me, I think the message that I will always portray is just to be comfortable with whatever you're doing, whatever you're listening to, whatever you're creating. Because even if you think that it's weird or wacky, or you think that people don't like it, someone will. And I got to see that, and that makes me want to progress. That makes me want to be better. So, yeah.
That was a great answer.
I was like, I'm honestly gonna cry.
Beautifully summed up, eloquently spoken. I really enjoyed that. Graham, do you have anything?
Do you have any shout outs that you want to give to like anybody that like really helps you like right now, or like just like got you to where you are, that you just love, is your friend, whatever?
Yeah, I have to give the biggest shout outs first. I have 2. No, I have 3.
As many as you want. There doesn't have to be a number.
I have 15. No, but
the big 3 right here.
It's going to be first in high school. There's this kid. I walked into my technology class. I think it was fucking Photoshop. I walked into Photoshop class, and this kid comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, can I get your autograph?" And I'm like standing there. I'm like, what? And this is because in high school I used to do TV production, so I used to go around interviewing people around the school. And I think at that point I was dropped, like I had a couple songs out, so people knew who I was, but I was like a popular loner, you know. I used to stay in the corner, so it was very weird that someone was like, "Yo, can I get your autograph, bro?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I got you." He pulls out his fucking notebook. He's like, I was like, "Who do you want me to sign it out to?" He's like, "Bob." I'm like, "Okay, Bob." I'm okay, Bob. But shout out to Jaden. He has put me on to a lot of like people when I was younger. We got into a group called the Exclusive Society, and that was like where I first got to really meet other producers in the area and other creative kids, because I didn't like grow up around that, and that was always something that I really wanted. So shout out to Jaden. I love you, Miko. You're amazing, and he makes awesome beats. Like, he's so creative. He's a great rapper as well. And yeah,
can we plug the rap name real quick?
He just changed it. Hold on. It's Really Radiant, actually, on Instagram.
Really Radiant.
Shout out Really Radiant on Instagram.
Radiant. We love him.
Instagram, Jesus.
I love him. He's great. But he put me on to this other artist. His name is Young Exter. He makes music that...
I think I've heard of.
That was the last single you dropped. Was a feature with him, right?
He's the only person I collab with. Like,
really?
Like, I say it as a joke, but like, no, serious. Like, he's the only person that I've like really looked up to, and I feel like I have a very personal competition with him. He doesn't know this, but like in my head,
he'll see it and be like, "Oh, okay, it's on."
Yeah, we're about to diss each other.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, I gotta make better music than you, bro. There's no way. Like, we grew up doing this, bro, and you just making amazing ass shit. And he's definitely made me feel more confident as a person, and I feel like I've also made him more confident. Not to blow my own dick, but like we grew up making music together, and I felt like our sounds like merged really well, and he's emerged into being such a diverse artist as well that deserves a lot. So shout out Young Exter on Instagram. And then finally is my momager, my little baby. Her name is Davika, and she's like my random childhood friend and the person I've known the longest. And she has seen me make so many songs. She has listened to so many failed beats. Like, I call her my momager because she's like, she comes with me everywhere. Like, every business trip that we go on. Like, she was with me in New York when I got scammed. Like, she witnessed the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Like, it was so funny.
Real shit.
She
Real
did
best
everything.
friends.
Yeah. That's my bestie. Shout out my twin. But no, shout out her. She's also doing photography stuff, and her @ is Davika Core on Instagram. So shout out her.
One question we always ask is, what's your message for the youth, for a starving artist or a young artist just starting out, looking at you as a source of inspiration? What's your message to them?
Oh, please don't look up to me.
Oh, I don't say that. I mean, you made it here, so.
Yeah, okay.
I don't
let anybody on the podcast.
I don't bring anybody in
we usually
my podcast.
ask people to be on the podcast, and I was like, no, they could be on the podcast.
Yeah. No, so actually, my biggest word of advice will always just be stay true to who you are, stay true to what you want to do, and don't let people influence you, because, gosh, it is so easy. It is so easy to be taken out of your own world to be put into others so that way you could fit in better, and it's absolutely fucking horrific. Like, it happens to me all the time, and I'm finally at a point where I've grown out of it, and music has helped me tremendously, like getting out of that point in which I'm like, shit, I feel like I shouldn't create this because dudes are listening to more like heavy rap shit right now. Like, trap is really hard right now, so I need to be a rapper. So I'm like, but then I'm like, nah, nigga, like, you sing, like, you make melodies, like, you try to compose music, you don't even try to be a producer, you want to like really create a feeling. So, you know, move hearts, not, you know, other shit, I guess.
I know.
Move hearts, don't ride a trend.
Yeah, don't ride a trend. Or if you ride a trend, try and make it your own. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, shred that shit, ride that trend like a wave.
Yeah.
Cut that bitch up.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the Mostly Good Americans podcast. My name is Azer Wind. Oh, you got. Oh, wait.
Wait.
She just stopped the.
Whoa.
No outro yet. Actually, I have to shout out something. So I'm working with a magazine in California, and it's called Not a Phase magazine. And we've been working on this next drop that is going to be throughout June. And we've did I say June? What? Is it April?
Yeah, it's April.
April. Throughout May, actually. And then it's going to be some really cool stuff. We got some articles coming with some local brands actually here in Florida.
Hell yeah.
And then also some musicians, and little sneak peek, Jack Tellier will actually be, you know, I have a little article on him that is releasing. So if you want to see.
Shout out Jack. He's actually been on.
I was like, he's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
We need to get his own episode.
Dude, he's a fun guy to talk to. So look out for that. Stay tuned through April. If you want to find us, we're on Not a Phase Mag _ on Instagram. And that's with all my peoples. I actually met them off TikTok because I saw that they were doing ad promotions and stuff.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, do you want to join our magazine? I was like,
fuck it.
I'm outside. Let's do it.
I'm like, fuck it. And then they got back to me. Ray got back to me like probably a month later, and she was like, dude, like, I see what you're doing. Like, you're actually really cool as fuck. Like, let's call and talk. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, shit, let's see how far this goes. And it went pretty far. I got to meet them, and we got to do live interviews with a few artists, and I'm really excited.
Oh yeah.
So stay tuned throughout June.
They got interviews too. They're on an interview. They do interviews. They make music. They make fucking everything that you could possibly think of.
Absolutely. And
this has been Maya.
This has been me.
MJ, the
Deity.
My name is Azer Wind.
My name is Graham.
This has been the Most Good Americans podcast. We'll catch you in the next episode. If you like this podcast, subscribe and check out her links in the description below. We'll see you guys in the next episode.